Thanks for staying with us. We start from the Volta region, where the people of Ahafo Odome boycotted the referendum, stating they did not petition for the creation of the proposed OT region. They said they didn't wish, or they rather wish to remain in the Hohoi district and still be within the boundaries of the Volta region. Chief of the community, Nana Kofiedu II, earlier told his people not to vote at all, and they heeded his call.
The people of Ahafo are expected to vote in a referendum to decide whether they want to be part of the OT region, but many have boycotted the exercise.
So are you not voting?
No.
Why?
We don't like it. We don't like it. Not that we don't like it, though. You know, we are not against the creation of the region. Well, the only problem we are facing now is we don't want to be a dropout from the whole municipality. And the government is just forcing us. Our petition, they didn't take them. We in the petition, they are forcing us to undergo the referendum. What's happening, my brother? How small boys? We are fighting for posterity, not today. So never on this will I vote. My brothers too are. None of them is voting.
Something that we don't ask. It's not that we can go there and do anything, because I don't need it. If you ask something,
if you don't want to buy something, don't ask the price of it. We didn't have the price.
So me, this vote, I will not do it.
The people claim they made their position clear during the consultation stage, but their views were ignored.
Our Ahafo and Lulubi did not petition to be part of OT, the proposed OT. The proposed OT, they are thinking of governance coming to them. But when we are shifted to this side, it will even be it will go further. So we still want to remain at where we are, which is Ahafo municipality, and for that matter, Volta region. There are people who are saying that it will bring development. Well, it will bring development to those people. I don't think that by pushing it onto this side, that will bring development here. Simply because Volta region will still get their share of development. So if we remain in Volta or in OT, we'll still get our share. Yeah, that's why we are not voting. And it is a community decision. We took the decision together.
According to the presiding officer at Ahafo, SCMB shared polling station Ebenezer at Babli, as at 2:30 p.m., only 9 persons had voted.
In the voter register, we are 790 voters who are expected to vote. But as of now, it's only 9 voters who came in the vote.
Agents of No OT campaigners have also raised concerns of what they say is a subtle ploy by the EC to prevent them from observing the exercise by issuing them a wrong accreditation card.
Some of his team members were challenging us that we should get out of the center because the accreditation we are using is not the right, and we said no, we can't do that, we won't do it because we didn't issue the accreditation to ourselves. So if anything, they should go to the EC and find out why they issued a wrong accreditation to us.
Let's stay in Ahafo because police are on a manhunt for 3 persons transporting shotguns in the Ahafo area. The Joint Operations Center for the OT region referendum says 3 persons in possession of a locally manufactured shotgun in Ahafo Odome area managed to abscond on a motorbike during a hot chase by a military patrol team. The commander for the JOC, DSP Meister K, added 1 person fell off the motorbike during the chase together with a gun, but quickly managed to climb the motorbike, leaving the guns on the floor. He's been addressing the media on the Joint Command Center set up at the Boyman Senior High School.
The polls took off at exactly 7 o'clock. We had security persons at almost every polling station, and places we thought could be volatile, we made it 2 to a polling station. Everything has gone on very well so far. Around 9:20, we received a report at the JOC here that 3 young men were spotted going from station to station, polling station to polling station as observers, and they were not accredited. We quickly sent a message to our patrol team, and they were picked up and brought to the Jasikan District Police Headquarters. After interrogation, it came out that they were also youth of the town who thought they could adapt to the security. And since they were not accredited, they were warned to desist from such act and were allowed to go. After an hour, another three men on a motorbike, 3 of them were riding one motorbike, were spotted by the military patrol at Ahafo Odomi, and they were signaled to stop. They tried speeding away. In the process, one of them fell off the motorbike. Together with an item, he managed to get back on the motorbike and they sped off. When the soldiers took the item, it happened to be a locally manufactured shotgun. This gun has been handed over to Owe police and the case is being investigated.
Let's go on the line now, and I'm joined by my colleague Hubert Marley Yewagbi for the latest on voting there. Marley, first of all, is counting underway? We know that counting is underway in other areas, but where you are now, which is Ahafo, has counting ended?
Yeah, counting has ended at Ahafo, Odomi, and which reflects the concerns of the people that they have not petitioned, and for that matter, they boycotted the referendum. However, there were a few dissenting people who still went in and voted, but still the numbers show clearly the concerns of the people. For example, that the SCMB shared at Ahafo Odomi, that particular police station is supposed to have 790 people. Those are the eligible voters. Yet only 14 turn out, which represent just about 1.8% of the eligible voters, and 12 of that number voted yes, and there was no vote, no vote. Then 2 rejected, and so that at the end of poll at Ahafo Odomi SCB share, that was the provisional results we had. Those were the provisional results. Now, a similar result was also recorded at the Ahafo Odomi EB Primary School, where out of a total of 648 eligible voters, only 39 cast their ballots, which represent just about 6% of the eligible voters who participated. But the referendum is supposed to have no less than 50% of voter turnout across the enclave. So out of the number, 39 cast their ballot, that's the 6%, and 29 of them said yes, and 6 of them said no, and 4 ballots were rejected. And so far, that has been the reflection of voting across that particular enclave, Ahafo areas. There are a number of Ahafo towns, and my information is that it cuts across all the Ahafo towns into the Lolobi stretch, where they have clearly stated that they want to remain part of the Hohoi municipality, which still remains in the Volta region. But they have been cut out of the Hohoi municipality and being forced, according to their words, being forced to be part of the OT region. And so voting in the area has been a reflection of the concerns of the people.
Very well. Many thanks for that update. Marley Yewagbi is our correspondent. He was covering the OT part of that region. Now, in all the proposed new regions, at least 50% voter turnout is expected, and 80% yes endorsement is expected before the green light for the creation of the new region. Let's run through some figures. A total of 252,575 registered voters are expected to cast their votes, and at least 80% or 101,030 should vote yes for the creation of a new region. In the Bono East region, a total of 525,275 registered voters are expected to cast their ballot in the proposed area. At least 262,638 registered voters are expected to turn out to vote, and at least 80%, which is 210,111, should vote yes for the creation of a new region. 300,108 voters are expected to cast their ballot in the proposed Ahafo region. At least 150,054 are expected to turn up to vote, and at least 80%, which is 240,086, should vote yes for the creation of a new region. 501,306 voters are expected to cast their ballot in the proposed Western North region. At least 250,653 are expected to turn up to vote, and of that number, at least 80%, which represents 401,044, should vote yes for the creation of a new region. In the Oti region, 366,545 voters are expected to participate in the referendum in the Oti region. At least 183,272 are expected to turn up to vote, and of that number, at least 80%, which is 293,236, should vote yes for the creation of the new region. 252,902 voters are expected to cast their ballot in the proposed Savannah region. At least 126,451 are expected to turn up to vote. At least 80%, which is 202,321, should vote yes for the creation of a new region there. Now, our correspondent, Ohimin Tebia, who was stationed in the Bono East proposed region, reports that many people in that area are anxious to have a new region. He has some provisional results from Atebubu Amanting.
We are inside the Tankani DA Primary School, a polling station in the Atebubu Amantin constituency, where the referendum has just ended. But one thing that will not pass is the fact that this probably is the first polling center in the whole Atebubu Amantin constituency to close polls earlier than expected. The information we are picking is that the number of registered voters out of 43, 41 turned up to vote, but as to what happened to the two registered voters who did not turn up, we'd like to speak to the electoral officers. How did you do this?
Yeah, we were here as early as 7 o'clock, and then when the voting started. In fact, as you said, we are supposed to have 43 people in the voted register. So the people came, and then the turnout was encouraging. So we finished early, and then we realized that we were left with 2 people who haven't voted.
The 2 people who did not turn up, is it a way to say that maybe they have passed away or what? What information did you receive from the community members?
Yeah, the information we are getting is that one has passed away, and then the other one is not around, has traveled. So
you are done with the counting.
Yeah,
fill me in with the counting. How many number of registered voted for yes, and how many rejected the vote? The yes vote.
Yeah, our center, we did not have, after we've counted everything, we did not have a rejected ballot or spoiled ballot, but the 41 turnout voted yes, and then leaving the two who did not turn up.
Ohiming joins us on the line with more. Ohiming, bring us up to speed on what's been happening where you are.
Thank you, Araba. I'm currently at the UC office at Asebubu, where the results are being collected. And I've managed to get some provisional results from the polling centers. First is Nansibu, number 1 DA Primary School. The total number of registered voters is 255. 152 turned up to vote. 150 voted yes. No recorded 2, and there were no rejected ballots. Nyamwasi DA number 2 Basic School A. 468 registered voters were expected to participate in the referendum. 404 turned up, and 404 voted yes. Nyamwasi DA Primary number 2B, registered voters 438, number of voters number who voted 360, yes 357, no 1, rejected 2. Bipaso DA Primary A, registered voters 687, number of who voted yes 620, no 0. Bipaso DA Primary B, registered voters 500, a number who voted 474, yes vote 408, no vote 0, rejected 6. So, Araba, these are some provisional figures that I have gathered from the polling centers. As we speak now, the Electoral Commission is currently working to collate all the votes in the Atebubu Amantin constituency. Same is being done at Kwame Danso in the Sini West constituency, as well as Kejeji in the Sini East constituency. So we are monitoring developments, and we'll fill our viewers in very soon.
Ohiming Terry, many thanks with that update from Atebubu Amantin in the Bono Ahafo region. As we indicated, counting is underway in the 4 regions, and we will be touching base with all our correspondents to give us the latest. Let's head to the proposed Ahafo region, where Erastus Asare Donko and Precious Semerville report that excited residents formed long winding queues from 6 a.m. to cast their vote. Now, the residents said carving out the new region will facilitate development in their area.
The day started slow at Wamahinso and Jedu towns of the proposed Ahafo region, as EC officials were seen arranging materials as at 6:30 a.m. with no queues. But at Goso, the picture was different. Long queues were seen at almost all the polling stations. At 7:15, 40 people had voted, including this 90-year-old man. 79 people had voted as at 8:15 at the Methodist JHS polling station at Goso. People are excited at the exercise and believe it is an opportunity to get the development they deserve.
I
voted yes, she says, because everybody wants development and we need one. I voted yes, and I'm happy.
Municipal Chief Executive for Isnafo North, Yao Osei Boahini, is optimistic the referendum will yield a new region for Ahafo citizens.
Very crucial, very important for the people of Ahafo, because we've clamored for the creation of a separate region for quite a long time. In fact, when you go through the history, days back in the 80s, early 80s, and we are in 2018. So the clamor for a separate region has been on the drawing board for a long time. So in fact, when you go around, you could see the enthusiasm.
So that's Erastus Asari Donko's report from the proposed Ahafo region. Erastus joins us on the line now. Erastus, has counting ended, and what are the figures?
Well, so counting has ended, but we have the figures trickling in. Remember, this is a less developed area where we have many of the polling stations deep within the forest and other areas. The roads are very bad, and so we expect that by midnight or 1 a.m., we're supposed to get all the figures coming in here at Kenyafe, where the collation center is. But the figures we have here, let me run just some few of them through you. We have at the Osiodumja SHSA polling center at Fidim, we had registered voters 762. The turnout was 607, and we had 604 voting yes and 2 people voting no. There was 1 spoiled ballot. When we go to Fidim RC Church B, we had a total registered number of 451. Out of that, we have 403 voting yes. There were no persons voting no, and we had no rejected ballots as well. Then we get to Fidim SHSA. We had a total registered voter population of 513, and 473 voted yes. 2 people voted no, and we had rejected ballots 2. So when you look at the figures that are coming in at this particular moment, you could see way above the 50% voter turnout, and we are getting more than 90% voting yes. And so if it goes this way, we might be having a yes vote for a new Ahafo region. But we are currently at the Kenyafe Social Center, where we are waiting for all the polling stations to bring their results.
Right.
And we will get them to you.
Many thanks. Erastus Asari Donko there. Now to the north now, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has cast his vote in the ongoing, just ended special referendum on the proposed creation of 6 new regions. Well, the Vice President cast his ballot at the Periga Presby JHS polling station at Wale in the proposed Northeast region at about 9:20 a.m. Speaking to the media after voting, the Vice President urged voters in all 6 proposed regions to turn out in their numbers to exercise their democratic right to vote. Vice President Bawumia was confident of a smooth, peaceful vote which would affirm the wishes of the people on the proposal to create new regions.
This morning to participate in the referendum on the creation of the new regions. I am voting in the Northeast region, the proposed Northeast region. The Nayeri made a petition and sent a petition to the President, who then passed it on to the Council of State and then to the commission that was set up. This has resulted in a referendum where we have the 6 districts of Chereponi, Yunyo, Bunkurugu, West Mamprusi, East Mamprusi, and then Yagaba Kubori. All of these come to form the Northeast region as proposed. And so I can see a lot of enthusiasm for the region. I myself, as an indigene of this proposed region, am exercising my civil duty to come in and express my view on this proposed creation of this region. And this is why I have just voted in this. And I want to take this opportunity to encourage everybody to come out and vote. I think it's very important that everybody has a say in the creation of this region and in all the other regions. The Savannah region is also, I've been there, and they should also come out and vote. The OT region, the Ahafo region, the Northwestern region, all of the regions. We have about 6 regions in all that we are proposing. And I think this is not a partisan matter.
Let's stay in the northern region, but let's turn our attention to the proposed Savannah region. My colleague Martina Bugri has been covering some communities in that proposed region. She joins us on the line now. Martina, how has participation been like?
Participation has been very massive in areas that I visited and areas that we went through this afternoon till the close of polls. I went to Yape, Bupe, Damango, and all these places. We had so many people coming out to vote. The results have started trickling in, and I must say that you have from 70% upwards, nothing below 70%. And so it shows the enthusiasm with which people came out to cast their vote.
All right, Martina Bugri with that update from the proposed Savannah region there. Let's go to the western region now. Thalia Kwanzaa joins us on the line. She's been monitoring the process in the proposed western north region. Ina, bring us up to speed on what's been happening there.
Okay, so we are now at the collation center and we are waiting for other results from the other 8 districts. Now they have already gotten that of Fishy, but the EC boss is now ready to let it out, so we get the others from the other districts, which he says we should wait for, let's say, 45 minutes. But in all, it was expected that 503,000 people will vote, and out of this 503,000, 250,000 people would reach the number that they want in order to declare this place Western North, and that represents 80%. So now we are still at the collation center waiting for the results to come. And Arabas, some of these districts are as far as 2-3 hours from Seshuia, so where everything will be counted and then declared. These districts are Bibieni, Bia West, Bia East, Akontomra, Buedi, Suamana, Wowin, Jaboso. Yes, so we are waiting for results from these districts.
Ina, many thanks. Ina Thalia Kwanzaa is our correspondent in the western region. So it's been a little over 2 hours since voting closed across the regions where the referendum took place. Checks by reporters suggest the exercise was generally smooth, but let's hear the assessment of the poll by organizers. That's the Electoral Commission, as well as the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO. We'll start with the EC. We're joined on the line by Dr. Bosman Asari, who is Deputy Electoral Commissioner in charge of administration. I do understand that we don't have Dr. Bosman Asari. We have Yusuf Ayuba. He's with the Communications Department of the Electoral Commission. Many thanks for your time. So, first of all, what's your assessment of how the exercise went generally?
Good evening, and thank you very much. The exercise went very well. At exactly 5 p.m., the exercise came to an end in areas where there were no people in the queue. Counting, started immediately. And as I speak, counting has almost finished at the various polling stations, and they are moving to the constituency collation centers currently.
You say generally it has been smooth, but what are your personnel telling you about some of the challenges, no matter how little they may have faced on the ground?
I must say that generally we've not received, reports from our officials indicating that they had challenges. Generally, we must say that the exercise went very well.
We know that, Ms. Ayuba, we know that in the case of Ahafo, there were issues of wrong accreditation in the OT area. How did this happen?
When you talk about wrong accreditation, what exactly are you referring to?
Well, we understand that they had pictures of the EC boss on the ballot.
On the ballot for voting. Hello?
Okay, so that Charlotte Asay's name was on the accreditation tag.
On the accreditation card.
Those are the reports we are getting.
Then it may not officially have come from the Electoral Commission, because what I'm aware is that officially the Commission gave accreditation cards to, the districts to be issued out, to accredited agents. It would be strange for that to happen. And if that happens, it's not come to our notice.
All right, let's move on. Now, we know that in some areas counting has ended, in others counting is still ongoing. What happens next?
What will happen next is that at the various polling stations, the results would be announced, and then it will be moved. They will bring the statement of full and declaration of result sheet to the collation centers, where all the results for the district would be collated. If that is done, then after that, they will move to the various centers designated for the regional collation centers, where each of the district collated results would be added up, and then a final regional results would be declared. That is, first we will look whether they were able to achieve the 50%, or more turnout. If that is ascertained, then we'll look to see whether the yes vote, 80% of people voted yes, 80% and above voted for yes, or no. Then it will be determined whether, if that happens, then it will be determined whether the region will be carved out for them.
Okay. How soon can we expect to hear the final declaration of results?
It will be very soon, looking at the response from the various polling stations to the various constituency collation centers. I must say that there are areas in the country where it is a bit difficult, to access. So those areas may delay the process a bit longer, but hopefully we would, as soon as we get all the results, it will be declared.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. That's Yusuf Ayuba. He's Deputy Communications Director at the Electoral Commission. Let's also speak to Albert Ahin, who is with Election Observer Group, CODEO. Good evening and many thanks for your time. We know that CODEO deployed 50 observers to monitor the referendum. What are your personnel telling you with regards to how the process has gone so far?
Araba, good evening, and good evening to your listeners. We were able to get to about 40 of the observers who we deployed into the various regions, earmarked for the creation of the new region. The report reaching us from about 7 in the morning up to about 12 indicated that there was calm in almost every area that they saw voting going on. Everything was calm. In a few places, voting didn't start exactly at 7 o'clock. It started around 7:30, 8:30, thereabout, but it picked up. And the reason assigned to this delay was that some of the material didn't arrive on time. So generally, CODEO is saying that there was peace, there was calm throughout the entire process. And with regards to the BVDs, the biometric verification device, they worked efficiently according to the report that we had. Apart from the fact that they were working well, they even had backups. And a few people were also reported to have not been able to be identified by the BVD, even that they had to resort to manual verification. So they also didn't have any problem. We had a report about an incident where somebody wearing a T-shirt as an observer was inside one of the stations around the Akontombra area in the Western region. But CODEO observers were able to report, and he was apprehended and taken away from the center. He was apparently trying to teach them what to do, which, of course, runs contrary to election rules and regulations.
Right.
So, Araba, generally, it's been very calm. Understand both the parties, the NPP, NDC, and whatever, they were all out trying to mobilize people to come out to cast their ballots, irrespective of which parties they belong to. They felt it was an exercise which should be supported. So the enthusiasm was there, the excitement was there, and they all were doing it. So generally, it was fair and fine.
Very well.
We will continue with the report maybe on the counting and other things. Not today, but maybe tomorrow.
All right. That's fine. Thank you so much. That's Albert Ahin. He's with the Observer Election Group, Kudeo. And you're watching Joy News 5.